What is up, everybody? We got one game on tap for Tuesday, June 25th for the WNBA betting slate. Only one game on tap, but it's actually a pretty awesome game. We got the Lynx versus the Liberty. So what I'm going to be doing is giving you a deep dive going into the matchups and all that stuff on the game itself, giving out my predictions of who I think is going to win, over, under, stuff like that. And then I have one player prop at the end as well. Of course, before I can get into everything for those games, for those picks, we got to do a recap. And it's been pretty hit or miss on the WNBA season so far. As you can see on the screen here, we are very, very slightly in the green on the year. But hey, at least we are in the green. We're not in the red, which is always good. But we like to have a little bit more sustained success than we are having on the season. So hopefully that starts with this video today. If you are new to my channel, I would appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. But we can get right into it. As I mentioned, we got a pretty awesome game on tap for us. This is for tomorrow's betting slate. I'm recording this the night before. So yeah, for Tuesday, June 25th, I'm recording this on Monday. Really awesome game. Lynx versus the Liberty, two teams that are 9-1 over the last 10 games. But it's really interesting in that it's going to be really interesting back and forth. Now, what you see on the screen here, I just want to put these teams kind of head to head and match them up. And as I mentioned, it's really interesting because these two teams are almost polar opposites in what they focus on and how they play. It's really going to be a strength on strength. It's going to be a battle to see who's going to be able to control the pace and all that stuff. But it's kind of crazy. Like when you look at the last 5 games, which is what I like to look at in terms of sample size. For the NBA, it was 10 games. For the WNBA, because there are not as many games, I look at the last 5 games, mostly because like what happened at the beginning of the year isn't always relevant to what's happening now. So I like to look, again, 10 game sample size for the NBA. It's 5 games for the WNBA. But looking at the last 5 games, it's incredible how equally good the Liberty offense has been, and then compare that to how good the Lynx defense has been. Look at the last 5 games. The Liberty have the best offensive net rating in the entire WNBA, while having the 3rd best overall net rating. But even further than that, they play at the fastest pace in the WNBA over the last 5 games. They have the best effective field goal percentage in the WNBA over the last 5 games, while attempting both the most above the break 3-pointers along with the most corner 3-pointers as well. Really, really dynamic, fast, fun offense, which all sounds great. Okay, we're going to back the Liberty. Well, not so fast. Let's look at the Lynx. The Lynx, over that same sample size, the last 5 games, the best defensive net rating in the WNBA, along with the best net rating as well. So they're better than Liberty just looking at net rating. Now, the Liberty are the home team here, so obviously that does matter. But just looking at the raw stats, the Lynx are slightly better just in terms of overall net rating. Not that that means everything. That is just kind of interesting. The Lynx play at the 3rd slowest pace in the WNBA. They, over the last 5 games, have allowed the lowest opponent effective field goal percentage, while also allowing the 2nd lowest above the break opponent shooting percentage and the 4th lowest corner 3-point shooting percentage. So really when you put this together, the Liberty like to play really fast, while the Lynx like to slow the pace down. Not the slowest in the WNBA, but again, the 3rd slowest. The Liberty love to shoot a ton of 3-pointers. The Lynx limit how many 3-pointers they allow teams to take, but more importantly, how much success teams have against them. So the exact definition of strength versus strength. Now, I know this might sound like a cop-out, but I actually don't have an official play on the actual game, on the main lines. I don't have an actual play on the main lines. It's because if you want to bet the spread or you want to bet the over-under, I do want to have something for you. So I would lean the Lynx plus 5.5. And I want to be clear, that's not an official bet. Whether it hits or not, it will not be tracked as an official bet. But that's where I would lean. I would lean that the Lynx cover the spread. I'm not necessarily confident that they're going to win outright, but I do think that they're going to be able to keep this game close. In general, I will admit part of my ethos is I tend to trust underdogs that play really, really good defense that also slow the game down, because generally they don't allow a lot of points, and the fewer points, the less points that are scored, the closer the game is going to be, in my opinion. That's kind of why I like to lean towards the Lynx, right? And especially when you just look at the matchup here, teams that shoot a lot of 3-pointers, it can look really pretty, and it can lead to having the best offense in the WNBA. And that's not all the Liberty do. I do want to be clear, they're not just a 3-point shooting team. They just shoot the most and are really good at it. But the Lynx, they don't give up a lot of 3-pointers, and they don't allow their opponents to shoot at a high percentage as well. So if it's an off shooting game for the Liberty, Well, that's really, really going to help the Lynx. Now, I know that sometimes that's really reductive logic, like, oh, if the Liberty don't make a lot of three-pointers, then they're not going to win. But for a team that's as reliant on the three-pointer as they are, it can be a really tough matchup going up against a team like the Lynx, who do not allow teams to get up a lot of three-pointers against them. These two teams actually did play about a month ago, almost actually exactly a month ago from when this game is being played. The Lynx dominated that game. They won by 17. Now, I'm not necessarily expecting that to happen again, but I do expect this game to be close, and because of that, I'm going to take the points. Now, with that thought in mind, I'm also leaning towards this game going under as well. Obviously, the Lynx covering the spread would correlate to a game going under, so it makes sense that if I think the Lynx are going to cover it, that I also think this game is going to go under. If the Lynx are able to cover the spread, it's because probably they were able to slow the game down and because they did a good job stopping the Liberty from scoring, which would obviously almost directly correlate to an under. So if you're looking to bet the spread or you're looking to bet the over-under, there you have it. Lynx cover the spread. The game goes under. Again, those are just leans. If they both hit, that would be great because my leans would have cashed, but I'm not going to officially track them. What I am going to officially track and what I do have for you guys is an official player prop, and I'm taking Sabrina Ionescu to go under 19.5 points. You can get this at -130 odds at DraftKings. So my favorite play of the day, a play that I actually am locking in betting myself, and that will be officially tracked as part of my record, is this Ionescu point prop. Obviously, she's an awesome player, but fading her is the way to go in this matchup, in my opinion. First of all, it is a great fade of recent results, which is always what we love to do here on this channel. She's gone over in 3 straight games. In those three straight games, she scored 31, 24, and 26 points. So she's gone over by a decent margin. Of course, she's an amazing player. I'm not taking anything away from her, but after going over in 3 games in a row, the most likely scenario here is that there's some sort of shooting regression in that she's not going to be able to hit as many three-pointers as she did over the last 3 games. Like, look at how well she's been shooting the last 3 games. And it's actually been the last 4 games, but her last 3 games, the 3 games in which she went over, she's made 6, 4, and 4 three-pointers. Now that now makes it 4 straight games in which she's made 4 or more three-pointers. While yes, she is a great shooter, it's still bound to come down, and probably in this matchup, which is really tough, as we've mentioned a bunch of times. And just to give you kind of some reference here, this is the only stretch all season that she's even gone 3 straight games, making 4 or more three-pointers, and she's actually done it in 4. So it's a tough matchup. As I mentioned, the Lynx second best defense over the last 5 games at guarding above the break three-pointers. And you look at the entire season, they've allowed the second fewest points per game via the above the break three-pointer, which kind of is in line with everything we've talked about. Another reason why this under is a good play, Ionescu is really good at getting to the line. She scores the second most of the points that she scores are via the free throw line. The Lynx, they foul at the second lowest rate on the entire season. And over the last 5 games, they foul at the 3rd lowest rate. So I don't expect Ionescu to be able to score a bunch from the three-point line. I don't expect her to get to the line a bunch. And as I mentioned, this is a great play, fading recent results as well. So all that put together, fade of recent results, along with it being a tough matchup for Sabrina Ionescu, that means that I lean towards this going under. And then the last thing that I'll mention, which I haven't mentioned yet, as I mentioned, the Lynx, they really play at a slow pace. So if the Lynx are able to succeed in slowing down the pace, obviously that would limit scoring as well. The game that these two teams played about a month ago, Ionescu only scored 13 points. She did not have a good game, did not shoot well in that game. So just to kind of give you some background there, but that is all we got. So unfortunately, only one official play, taking the Ionescu under her point prop. And then if you're looking to bet, as I mentioned, the spread or the total, I lean towards the Lynx covering the spread, and I lean towards it going under. But that is all we got. One official play for you guys to lock in. If you're riding with me, make sure to comment and let me know. Other than that, remember to like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.